So I'd like to just discuss something that happened to me last night, and I want to talk about it whilst it's somewhat fresh in my head. And it doesn't really matter when you watch this video, because the actual topic in itself, I think, is going to be important for those of you who maybe are feeling a lot of frustration and anger with your social anxiety, and you are somewhat projecting it onto other people. Now, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, so I'm going to just add a bit of context first. So you've probably seen on my YouTube channel that I am a somewhat big advocate of the Duel and Back training game. Now, I won't explain what it is. I'll let you watch other videos for that, but I really am a big advocate for it because of the benefits that that game gives. And I even have like a love-hate relationship as well. And I've kind of put posts about it where, it's an incredibly boring game to play, and it can be really frustrating because every game is completely random. You don't know what positions and stuff are going to have. Sometimes you get a really lucky run. Sometimes you get a run that is incredibly difficult to try and remember the positions and letters of everything that's appearing on this grid. But point being is that I am really into this game, and I share with you my techniques on how to play it simply because I want you to be experiencing the benefits of it yourself. I know for me, it makes a huge difference when I am playing it, and I just know for people who have a lot of social anxiety, it's going to be a game that I can put my money on will make a difference for you as well. But last night I had a comment put on one of the tutorial videos. I think it was the one where I showed how to do the first 4 levels of playing Duel and Back. I can't show you how to do number 5 because I'm stuck on number 5 myself. And I had a comment that essentially, I can only paraphrase it because the guy had actually deleted the comments, so I didn't even get a chance to screenshot them and go over them. And it's just also a shame because I can't help him. I can't properly respond to him. But the guy had put a comment saying about that he hated the tutorial, it didn't help him at all, and and that he was holding back on how crap the video was. And I simply responded like, oh, well, what are you struggling with? And also, if you can just let me know how old you are, and if perhaps maybe you have any disabilities or mental health issues, then I can help. Because the reality is that this really is a very difficult game. It's not an easy one. And unfortunately, there's no cheat code because each round changes every single time. So I can only give so much information to help someone. And plus, the technique that I do might be very different to someone else. In fact, I don't even know if there are other techniques for remembering, the sequences of the positions and letters that are said. So I gave this guy this response, and then about 5-10 minutes later, as I'm having dinner, I see I've got this massively long, chunky message, and it had a lot of swearing in. He had just said like how he didn't like the fact that there was explanations in the video and stuff. And I was just looking at this comment and going like, first of all, I kind of sort of had like a laugh for a split moment. And then I really tried to just empathize with what was going on here. And I could see just so much frustration and anger that this guy must have clearly been struggling with. And to be then literally projecting this in this comment and then onto me, simply because he wasn't able to get what he needed to out of this video, even though I feel, I've done the best that I possibly can here, it did get me thinking about how then I wanted to respond. which was to genuinely try and help this guy with this struggle that he was having with the game. And it also got me to believe that maybe he did have some personal problems there, especially if he wasn't going to admit it in a previous comment, that I'd asked him about with there. But what was just amazing was then minutes later, after I'd finished dinner, and then I was to properly read through it and leave a comment, he just deleted everything. And it really got me thinking about what this guy might be going through to be lashing out over a video that's simply been designed to just help him with his social anxiety, to then send me this message, which easily had about like a dozen swear words in, to then retract it all minutes later. And I guess what I want to go to, or where I want to go to with this point, is that I get it if you are struggling with social anxiety, and maybe it's at a point for you where it's so overwhelming and you really genuinely struggle with it that you just feel angry with everyone and everything. And I can sympathize, because for me, once upon a time, I was in that position too. If I were to go back to 2009, where I was 21 years old and I'd never even kissed a girl, let alone having conversations with pretty girls either. I remember being so angry at the world because I just didn't understand how I was this like amazingly nice guy and good guy and stuff, and just no one wanted to be with me, or no one wanted to have anything to do with me. So when I saw a comment like this, my heart really went out to him. Because again, I can understand that frustration, and when you don't know what to do with that frustration, you just tend to, aggressively again project it onto other people. But what I want to say though, for anyone else who maybe feels this same kind of way, that you're angry at the world, or if things aren't going the way that you want it to, lashing out at people is not going to help you with your situation. And you think that it might make you feel better, but the truth is it doesn't. It just kind of like adds more fuel to the fire. It just makes you feel even more angry because you're getting the adrenaline going, and and the testosterone bubbling as well. It just doesn't really help. So I want to, if anything, just try and encourage you to reframe your situation, and instead kind of get you to question your own struggles and beliefs, and just think about, like, are you actually asking or doing the right things to get the result that you want? So, for example, instead of this guy trying to lash out at me and just literally putting all this frustration in this really long message for him to then delete it 5 minutes later, instead, you should have left me a comment asking for help and saying, "Hi, I've watched your video. I'm still struggling with this. I don't understand what's going on. Please, can you give me some advice?" And then I can have a conversation, and anyone else can have a conversation with you. But when you're just aggressively attacking people, and even outside of this example, it could be just something that's happening in life. Maybe you've gone to go and get a coffee from a coffee shop, and you're not happy with the staff there because maybe they're doing multiple jobs at once and they're not fulfilling your needs as best to your ability. And let's face it, we've all stood in queues in coffee shops and we've seen someone who's been unnecessarily aggressive to staff. Acting out in that way is not going to help your situation out at all. You are better to just communicate in a more down-to-earth kind of way. So look, if you're struggling with something, ask for help. It is absolutely okay with that, and also accepting that it's your responsibility to try and figure out a different way to solve something. If you're going to just be angry at people, what is that going to do for you? But if you end up saying to yourself, right, I can't do this, I don't understand this, or this isn't working for me, and then asking yourself, right, what can I do next? Who can I speak to? What questions should I be asking that is going to benefit me? I can assure you that's going to make a much bigger difference for you, and you're going to get the result that you want. So this isn't me essentially fully telling the guy off. I mean, I don't think he was a subscriber, and I've kind of noticed that on the rarity that I get people leave really weird comments, they just seem to sort of like disappear into the abyss anyway. So I tend to take, I suppose, these comments with a pinch of salt, but my heart really went out to him when I saw just how frustrated he was, and I was just looking and reading this for the little bit of time that I got to see it, thinking like, well, I've got chapters on the videos. If you didn't like me explaining stuff, why didn't you skip it? Or, I've clearly even say in the video, like this is just me sharing my technique, rather than what I assume. I think he thought like I was giving the cheat code on how to, complete the game. And I wish I could, but it's one of those games that you just indefinitely keep on going. You just keep pushing your brain and keep testing your memory and your fluid intelligence for. So there's not really an end game with it. There are just more ways to challenge yourself. So maybe in a way I am actually kind of having a go at the guy. But look, all I want to say though is as feedback to you guys who have social anxiety and you just don't know what to do with it, and maybe it really is frustrating you, it's making you angry, just there's no point projecting it onto other people. You are better to self-reflect and think about what's working and what isn't working, and definitely what is not working, and then think about what questions or what things can you do to help you progress to getting what you want. And when you can do that, that is when you really can grow. Otherwise, all you're going to do is just frustrate yourself even more, and you're going to push other people away. And then that's only going to create this self-fulfilling prophecy of winding you up even more so. So I think that's really all I'll say on the matter. But, I make content and put it out as regularly as I can because I want to help you. I get it. I was in that place myself. I had a really tough upbringing. I had a lot of anxiety, and I had to go through so many issues and trauma myself that I can empathize and sympathize with your problems and everything that you are struggling with. But one of the biggest things that made a difference to my life was actually taking responsibility for my actions and behavior. And when I was able to change that and start asking questions that benefited me, that is again when I started seeing results. So if you haven't done so already, please do like the video, subscribe if you can. Every video that I make, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I really want it to help you. I want you to overcome your social anxiety, and I want you to find happiness, whatever that looks like, particularly to you. I want you to be happy, whether that's getting a girlfriend, whether that's even making friends or growing a business or something. I want you to find your confidence, and it doesn't matter what works for other people. It's about what works for you. So subscribe if you can. If you need help with stuff, I am around. Check out my website, check out my coaching services and programs, and I would love to be able to talk to you and help you with the issues that you've got. But don't let your social anxiety get the better of you. And if you find yourself being really angry at the world because you have so much pain, you have to accept that you need help and support, and that you carrying on down that path is not going to help you anymore. And on that note, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to putting out more videos soon.